Across centuries and cultures, two profound streams of insight have explored the same essential question: why do we suffer, and how do we become whole? One emerged from deep meditation beneath trees and in silent forests. The other emerged from careful listening to dreams and the hidden language of the psyche. Though born worlds apart, they converge in a powerful understanding of the human condition. At the center of both teachings lies a simple but unsettling observation. Most of our suffering is self-created, not because we are flawed beyond repair, but because we cling to identities, to desires, to fears, to images of who we think we are. We build a solid I in our minds: my story, my status, my pain, my success. Yet when we look closely, this self is not as stable as we imagine. Thoughts change, emotions shift, roles evolve. The personality we defend so fiercely is, in many ways, a construction. Modern depth psychology calls this construction the ego, the center of conscious identity. It is necessary, but limited. Ancient contemplative wisdom goes further and suggests that what we call the self is a bundle of shifting processes, not a fixed essence. Suffering begins when we mistake this temporary structure for something permanent. The roots of suffering. Both perspectives agree. Attachment creates tension. We crave pleasure and resist pain. We chase approval and avoid rejection. We suppress what we dislike in ourselves and exaggerate what we admire in others. This inner division creates conflict. What we reject does not disappear, it sinks below awareness. Depth psychology calls these rejected aspects the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny, repress, or disown. Contemplative wisdom describes ignorance, not seeing reality clearly, especially the impermanent and interconnected nature of all things. When we refuse to face anger, it turns into bitterness. When we suppress fear, it manifests as anxiety. When we cling to an identity of goodness, we may secretly judge others harshly. The shadow grows precisely where awareness is absent. The solution is not self-condemnation, it is awareness. Awareness as liberation. Ancient meditation traditions emphasize mindful observation. Sit still, watch the breath, observe thoughts as passing clouds. Do not cling, do not resist, just notice. Psychological work mirrors this in a different form. Instead of breath, we observe dreams, fantasies, emotional reactions. Instead of clouds, we examine symbols. The goal is similar: to become conscious of what was unconscious. When awareness expands, something shifts. We begin to see that a thought is just a thought. An emotion is a movement of energy. A fear is a story we are telling ourselves. By observing rather than identifying, we loosen the grip of suffering. This does not eliminate pain. Loss still hurts. Failure still stings. But the additional layer, "this should not be happening to me, I am worthless because of this," begins to dissolve. Freedom is not found by controlling reality. It is found by transforming our relationship to it. The middle way of the psyche. Another shared insight is balance. One tradition speaks of a middle path, avoiding extremes of indulgence and severe self-denial. Psychological growth similarly requires balance between opposites: reason and instinct, masculinity and femininity, action and reflection, order and chaos. The psyche naturally contains polarities. When we identify too strongly with one side, the opposite grows in the shadows. Someone who prides themselves on being purely rational may be unconsciously ruled by emotion. Someone who seeks constant spiritual purity may secretly struggle with hidden impulses. Wholeness comes from integration, not suppression. Symbols of balance appear everywhere: the mandala, the circle, the interplay of light and dark. They represent an inner harmony where opposites coexist without destroying each other. The journey beyond the ego. In both teachings, transformation involves a movement beyond the narrow ego. In meditation, as attachment to thoughts weakens, one may experience spacious awareness, a sense of being that is not confined to personal narratives. There is clarity, compassion, and equanimity. In psychological development, a similar process unfolds through individuation. The ego gradually aligns with a deeper center of the psyche. Dreams begin guiding the person, symbols emerge, the personality becomes less rigid, more authentic. This deeper center is not inflated self-importance. In fact, it often feels humbling. One realizes they are part of something larger, a vast web of life and meaning. Compassion arises naturally because the boundary between self and other softens. When the illusion of separateness loosens, kindness is no longer a moral duty, it becomes a natural expression. Embracing impermanence. A core contemplative insight is impermanence. Everything changes. Clinging to permanence guarantees disappointment. Youth fades, roles shift, relationships evolve. Psychology echoes this through its understanding of life stages. Each phase requires a letting go. The identity that worked at 20 may suffocate at 40. Crisis often signals that the old structure must dissolve to make space for something new. Resistance to change creates suffering. Acceptance allows transformation. To accept impermanence is not to become passive, it is to move fluidly with reality rather than fighting its currents. Compassion for the whole self. Finally, both perspectives emphasize compassion, not only towards others, but towards oneself. When we confront our shadow, we may feel shame. When we sit in meditation and witness restless thoughts, we may feel frustration, but harshness only strengthens inner division. Gentle awareness heals, compassion integrates. The path towards freedom is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming conscious. It is about seeing clearly the fleeting nature of thoughts, the constructed nature of the ego, the hidden aspects of the psyche, and responding with wisdom instead of fear. In the end, suffering becomes a teacher, the shadow becomes a guide, impermanence becomes liberation, and the self we were trying so hard to defend relaxes, not because it has been destroyed, but because it has been understood. Please like and subscribe.